has to do with the age we're in. And I think when I do interviews with press and analysts and other companies in the industry, I hear quite often a common set of questions. A lot of them have to do with a question posed earlier here today, which is, is this commentary about the OS wars important? You have to pick one. Well, how do you, in your platform, how does it compare to this other one? And how does this happen over there? I think it's the wrong set of questions. I mean, my answer back to that is the OS wars are almost completely irrelevant in the context of what we need to do in this era. I think the questions that need to be asked of the operators, of the OEMs, of developers, and so forth, that are heavily vested in this space is, what are you doing in an age of conversation? What are you doing to listen? Are you even aware there are conversations going on around you? Where are you making investments that help consumers participate in this age? It's not about when or where LTE is going to show up. It's about, if you're investing in LTE, what is somebody going to be able to do in this age of conversation on top of that network? Will the products and the devices, as an example, actually keep you from doing anything relevant with LTE? On a current course, maybe. In this age of conversation, you have to operate differently in this age. So as an example, if you're looking at your Twitter feeds today, Ajit here in the audience is actually having a conversation with us and many people. Thank you. He's given a really good report. How many of us are plugged into that? How many companies, how many publications, how many developers are listening to that conversation, getting the report here in the room, virtually being here? One answer I can give you from my perspective is that those that are those that are most aligned with this age. If there are product managers sitting in companies creating products and services that are virtually here as a result of that feed, and are chiming in as a part of that conversation, and are shifting investments and activities in their respective businesses as a result of it, then you're lining up with this era. Then and only then, I would argue, do you have a chance of truly following what is happening in the supply chain of this entire industry. It isn't about kits, APIs, corporate relations, license and legal. It's not about those things. Are you in a dialogue with your consumers? Are you on a daily basis changing your practices to help them? Because in the end, you actually have a community of people out there, some of them in corporate entities, some of them not, but you need to look at it more as a community, a neighborhood, who are very, very hungry to help. Very, very hungry to fix the little things that are problematic with the product or service. Very, very hungry to get some influence over a roadmap. Very hungry to reach in and are willing to reach into a pocketbook and pay for something that gives them a little extra, that enriches and fulfills their lives in some way that the products or services you create today may not. So in this way, I'll get back to the commentary about what companies, businesses, and others focused in the industry need to do today. And what they need to do is be a part of a movement, is realize that it's through the passion of a movement more than it is running a virtual software or hardware factory floor that makes these things happen. You need to channel the energy of individuals who care about the products and services into what you're doing every single day. So I'm making a few strong statements here. I hope you get a little bit of a sense that I'm certainly passionate about these things and have been focused in this way for some time. And in that way, if I bring you back to Symbian and what's happening with us and the foundation, I can give you a sense of where we're going. In terms of philosophy, it's back to all of those attributes about openness. I hear quite often people make the mistake of assuming, as an example, my paycheck comes from Nokia. It does not. It's an important part of our movement. How can we establish trust in a community when any one party controls or influences, especially at a compensation level, the leader or other individuals that are in the business? In fact, if you want the detail, Nokia has one board seat in our organization and one seat on some of our councils in the foundation itself. But so does Samsung, Sony Ericsson, MySpace, Visa. I can go down a list of companies, Adobe, individuals. We're actively working to get individual developers that right to come sit right on the council seat. And in terms of where we're going, the four main councils we run in this foundation, in this organization, at the heart of this community and ecosystem, control everything if you're looking for control points. Architecture, roadmap, UI, what's in a release or distribution and what's not. So if somebody checks something in and it wasn't part of the roadmap, you can still make a release decision to include it, to use it. So in this way, I think from a philosophy standpoint, there are some differences in what we're doing at Symbian and what you will encounter at some other businesses. We also have the broadest technology base available. I'm not sure everyone is aware, so I'll rattle off a few fast facts, but in terms of Symbian product footprint globally, there's close to 300 million units shipped, 70 million form factors. Most of those products carry about 30 to 40 million lines of code. There's support out of the box and in every distribution in one release, 53 different languages. You're compliant on hundreds, well over 200 operator networks as soon as you go through that release. And when you go around the globe, you go to India, China, Indonesia, some small parts of the US, Europe, and other places, of course, you see the footprint of these products. You see users who have that passion. You see consumers that just want to increase their reliance on you because they get a really fulfilling experience out of the product or service. It's a broad technology base, which is important in terms of participating in a community. You always have a neighbor there that has something, when you need it, has something you can use.